So, Cyberpunk 2077, the game that was destined to change this generation of games, but to say the least failed miserably at the very beginning of its road. But now, more than a year from its release, the question rises. Is it now too worth to buy this game, or we should just ignore it and just move on? So, let's just discuss that. And as always, I'm gonna give you the answer straight away to not waste your time. And the answer whether the Cyberpunk 2077 is worth it to buy right now is not yet. Let me explain. For the one who doesn't know what Cyberpunk 2077 is, it is a game by CD Projekt Red, the amazing developers behind the Witcher game series. Game came out in 2020 and was hyped beyond reason. However, when the game actually came out, it was a disaster. Game was practically non-functioning neither on consoles nor on PC, was littered with bugs, and was overall pretty bad experience for absolute majority of the gamers. However, game received quite a lot of patches, and since then, it has become much better experience, but it's still not there. But first, let's discuss what this game actually is. Cyberpunk 2077, and yeah, from now on I'm just gonna call it Cyberpunk, is an open world RPG happening, well, in cyberpunk setting. And for the ones who doesn't know what this even means, cyberpunk is basically a futuristic dystopian setting where cyberware or cyber implants are a very common thing. The setting overall is very bright, very colorful, full of neon lights, and very violent. In this game, you're playing as V, and at the beginning you will basically have a choice of 3 different origins. You can either be a street kid who basically, well, grew up in the streets, you can either be a corpo who is basically, well, having a corporate job, or you can be a nomad, which basically lives outside of a city and, well, is basically a nomad. I don't know how else I can explain that. And your goal is basically to make to the top of the Night City elite. That's as simple explanation as it can get without actually spoiling anything. Game is purely happening in a first-person perspective, and well, it is a very classical RPG, with a rich story, with a lot of dialogue choices, and with an FPS combat. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now let's discuss how it actually plays. Well, you're playing in an open world, and basically you're free to move anywhere, unless you're restricted by the story reasons. The city you're playing in, Night City, and its surroundings is an open world region where you can just move freely, use any vehicles that you want, and do any missions that you wish in basically any succession. Of course, if it's unlocked due to story reasons. And there are a lot of activities around in the world. There are a bunch of different street gangs, a lot of crime happening around, and you can take part in those as missions, or you can just go and kill them all. It's basically up to you. And the game even has a vehicle gameplay. But the best thing about this game is its story. The story is rich, and right from the get-go you can easily understand that this game was made by CD Projekt Red, because the story is simply great. It is not something outstanding or amazing or a masterpiece, but it's actually pretty great. You're gonna enjoy a lot from the story of this game, and this includes main story and side quests, because the game story and the characters are incredibly fleshed out and very interesting to watch. Except for, well, you. Issue here is that I really didn't like my own character. Yes, the character is fully voiced. It's not like a Skyrim where you are just a piece of text that responding to other people and you are basically a shell of non-existent character. Here you have your own personality and you can actually interact, and you even have your own backstory and you have your own character. However, compared to everything else around you, to be fair, I really didn't like my character. It's not like Geralt from The Witcher. It's not as fleshed out, but I'm willing to overlook because how great everything else, how great every other characters are. And well, again, this is purely my subjective opinion. Well, as everything in this video. And how about the gameplay? Well, is it fun? Is it good? Well, to be fair, the gameplay is pretty good. It's not something amazing, it's not something out of the ordinary, but it is pretty good and enjoyable enough to get you through the game easily. The game is actually full of different RPG mechanics, including your own augmentations. And yes, you can actually buy different augmentations for your body, which alters the gameplay pretty significantly as you go through the game itself. Plus, there are a variety of different weapons and different, well, skills that you can use to actually combat your enemies, including hacking skills, which basically helps you to, well, finish a lot of combats and a lot of battle encounters before actually anything will happen, which is pretty great gameplay option. However, despite game having everything for a great cyberpunk RPG, well, it's nothing out of the ordinary. The enemies are often bullet sponges and you need to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot them until they will die. And combat encounters are often, well, not as great, and because you are going to have a lot of them, a lot of combat encounters, you might not find a lot of them very enjoyable, and you might try to finish them as quickly as possible without actually having fun. Well, at least it was in my case. And the key culprit here is AI. AI in this game, I cannot even say that it's dumb. It's basically non-existent. Yes, the AI was an issue when the game launched, and it is still an issue. The AI is incredibly dumb. It can charge you just out of the blue. It can appear behind you just like that. It can one-shot heal you, or it can just do no damage from a point-blank range. It's simply awful. The AI in this game is bad. It's beyond bad. I have never seen AI this bad in any games. And yes, I know that this can be fixed, and I know that most likely it will be fixed in the future. It's been more than a year, and yeah, there has not been a lot of improvement since then. And yeah, speaking of improvements, what about the bugs? Are there any significant bugs like the awful launch video showed us? And to be fair, let's be honest with you, yes, there are bugs in the game, and to be fair, I've encountered quite a lot of them. Nothing game-breaking, nothing insanely immersion-breaking, but yes, they are there. You're gonna see a lot of pop-ins, you're gonna see a lot of low-poly characters, and you're gonna see a lot of small bugs and glitches. Again, nothing game-breaking, but yes, it does not look good when it breaks your immersion that quickly. Again, it's nothing unplayable, but they're still there. And yes, for the ones who didn't understand, I'm talking about PC version. And everything that I've talked here and will talk will be only about PC version. So okay, the story in this game is great. Gameplay is, well, enjoyable enough except for an AI. Open world is, well, pretty good and pretty fun until you will encounter some bugs and AI issues, which is apparent and prevalent in an open world as well. The gameplay, the gunplay and RPG elements are enjoyable enough, except for, again, for AI. So how long this game actually is? Well, the game is pretty long. Of course, it's an open world RPG. To complete main story only, you will take around 25 hours of gameplay. And I'm talking about just linear, going from place to place, directly doing the main story. It will take around 25 to maybe 30 hours in order to complete the main story. And if you want to complete everything in a night city, if you want to complete entire game, well, it will take around 100 hours. And well, if you're completionist, it might even take 200 hours. So there are quite a lot of things to do in this game, and well, game is pretty long. But now let's discuss the pricing and whether it is worth it or not. So game is available on Steam for the full price of $59.99 for tier 1 countries and $29.99 for tier 2 countries, and it can go as low as $29.99 for tier 1 countries and $14.99 for tier 2 countries. Now the question, is it actually worth it to buy or not? Now I'm gonna be really honest with you. Game still feels really raw and incomplete. I haven't played this game during the launch because I was not as hyped as everyone was, because I'm not a really big fan of the cyberpunk genre. However, I'm a fan of CD Projekt Red's Witcher games, so I decided to give it a go without huge expectations, and to be fair, well, this game actually met my expectations. I was not expecting something huge, and well, this game is nothing huge. At least not yet. The bugs and gameplay issues are still prevalent enough to stop a lot of regular gamers from playing this game. And even though this is not a bad game, not by a long shot, it's actually a pretty good game, it's not great. But will it be when the AI and bug issues will be fixed? Well, to be fair, actually, I believe that it can be a great game. When the AIs and bugs will be fixed, I'm pretty sure that it will be a great game. Maybe not on par with the Witcher games, but at least very close to it. After that, and when this will happen, this game will become must own in any Steam library. But right now, it's just not. For the full price, neither in tier 1 and nor in tier 2 countries, it is not worth it. The only time I would suggest you to buy this game is if you're in tier 2 country and you are buying this game on a discount. I bought this game for $14.99, and yes, it was a pretty amazing purchase. I do not regret it because I'm getting a lot of enjoyment and a lot of fun from it. Yes, my immersion is being broken very often, but I'm still enjoying this game a lot. I'm having a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, this is what matters the most. And again, if you want to buy this game right now, don't get the game for the full price. And if you're looking this during a discount or during a sales, well, know that you are still going to encounter a lot of bugs and issues. But if you're going to overlook it, well, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. And again, at the end of the day, that's what matters the most. Well, this will be it for today. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Cyberpunk? Were you hyped before it was released, or you were just not expecting anything big and anything special? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.